What is up, guys? Welcome back to the Scene Invaders podcast channel. I'm Chad,
I'm Carly.
and this is Chad and Carly's Creepy Corner. So, with the imminent release of Megan 2.0, we discussed how much we enjoyed the first movie and decided we would talk about both of them because we went to see the new one just this past couple of days. We're going to talk a little bit about the first Megan before we get into 2.0, and I'm going to read from the IMDb. Megan from 2022. When robotics engineer Gemma becomes the guardian of her orphaned niece Katie, she thinks her new invention, a robotic AI, will be a good companion. However, Megan begins to behave in unexpected and shocking ways. That's definitely a way to put it for sure.
Mhm.
And I know this movie kind of blew up before it ever came out because of the viral like dance scene and all of that kind of stuff. It was all very like TikTokable and memeable and all of that kind of stuff. So I kind of went into the first Megan with no expectations.
Right.
It released like the first week of January, the year that it came out, and I had happened to receive a gift card to a theater or whatever. So I went to see it, and I was like, let's max out this gift card. It was like the 4DX experience. My hair was like moving and stuff and all of that. And I ended up leaving this movie having had a pretty great time with it.
Yeah, I did too. I actually took my daughter to go see it in theaters, and I guess she was probably about 10 at the time that it came
Okay.
out. And yeah, we both really enjoyed it.
Yeah, I mean, especially for that age, I think this is a
Mhm.
perfect. I know we've talked about this before, like a gateway horror movie.
Oh, yeah.
It's PG-13. It's certainly not scary, not to me. It's some implied violence, but nothing intense or too over the top. And I like this is the kind of thing like if your kids are showing interest in that kind of stuff, that this would be good to show them. But also has plenty of great stuff in it for adults. This basically is about Megan, which is like a AI doll that it becomes like a companion for your child, like a friend. And I think this movie actually raises some kind of interesting questions about
Mhm.
like technology and raising your kids and stuff like that.
Yes.
It never goes too deep or too far
Mhm.
with any of that kind of stuff. But yeah, it does ask some interesting questions about like kind of screen time with kids and the things that parents rely on to parent for them essentially. And that's kind of what Megan does. So Megan pairs with Katie, and that's her mate now. And Megan will stop at nothing to make sure that Katie is safe. And it is wild. I mean, there are some wild moments in this movie.
I listen. I've been a fan of the director Gerard Johnstone
Uh-huh.
since Housebound. So
Yes.
as soon as I heard that he had anything to do with the first Megan, I was like, okay, I really don't know much about this, but I really dig his sense of humor and his direction style. So I was pleasantly surprised after I watched it. I really enjoyed it.
Yeah, it's just such a fun movie. And this became honestly like a huge hit.
Oh,
They made this
yeah.
movie for $12 million, and like worldwide it made like $180 million. And it was just one of those things where like lightning strikes. Like they had the
Hmm.
perfect storm of like social media and advertising and a hungry fan base that they didn't realize was hungry for this movie, but they were. And I think it probably ended up being so successful because it is so, I don't want to say it's family friendly, but you can reach a really wide audience with this movie.
Yes.
Like kids, teens, especially girls, I think, love this movie.
Hmm.
And it's because Megan is a sassy little bitch.
Oh,
And
yeah.
that's what makes this movie so much fun. She, the first time I saw Megan, there are a couple of times where she bursts into song. She sings Titanium
Yes.
by Sia, for God's sake. And it was so fucking goofy and so strange and so out of left field. And I was like, what is happening? But this movie knows that it is campy.
Hmm.
And I think it leans into that, and it is all the better for it. When I did initially see this movie, I was kind of disappointed, though, I can't lie, a little bit that it wasn't R rated because there are a couple of really great kills in this movie. I think the neighbor with the power washer
Hmm.
specifically is kind of the most brutal kill here. And I thought that it would have been so much fun to have a slightly gorier version of this. I know there's a rated R version. I actually haven't seen it. I've heard it's really not worth your time. And
Yeah, I don't think I've seen it either. Well, and it's funny too because I was like listening to some I was finding out other information about it as well, and apparently the director, it was originally written as rated R,
Yeah.
and the director is like kind of basically kind of wanted to. It was funny how he worded it. He was like, there were some characters in here that I really don't want to die. Can we like rework some of this? And I have a feeling I think I know which characters he was talking about
Mhm.
that may have initially been killed in the initial writing or the initial cut of the film, but then they
Mhm.
went back and changed it.
Yeah, I wonder if it would have been like her coworkers.
That's what I was thinking.
Yeah, because I mean, she works with these two people. They're working to build this AI and this doll. She works for a company called Funky,
Mhm.
that makes like toys, and more specifically, it seems like smart toys and connected toys and stuff like that. And yeah, she has these two coworkers that are on her team with her, and you actually do like they're really fun.
I like them.
characters.
Yeah, I liked them. I was like, oh man, I hope they don't die.
Right. You come to care about them, and they also provide a good bit of the humor here.
Mhm.
And I mean, other than Megan, like Megan
Oh
definitely
yeah.
though is the centerpiece of the humor for this movie, because it's just such it's just goofy, a goofy time. Like I know a lot of comparisons have been made to Child's Play. I mean, I see it kind of,
Yeah.
but this is just a much different
Yes.
experience overall than something like Child's Play. This is something that just knows that it's silly entertainment.
Mhm.
And honestly, thank God for it leaning into that, in my opinion. And of course, this movie has the iconic thing that put this movie on the map before it ever came out, which is the dance kill sequence. I mean, when I saw it, I'd seen it before in the trailer and all that kind of stuff, but still, when you see it on the big screen and she grabs that like paper cutter piece off and she's after the
Mhm.
guy and she slashes at him and shit, it's hilarious and so much fun and so funny and kind of a mess, but like in the best possible way, I think.
Oh yeah. Yeah, it had a lot of it surprisingly had a lot of heart to it. There were a couple of
It
parts
does.
where I actually teared up. I was like, "Oh, I can't believe this movie is making me do that."
Right? Yeah, it definitely does have some heart to it, because the Gemma character, who is her aunt, so Katie, her parents die at the beginning of this movie. She's orphaned and she has to go live with her next closest family, which is Gemma. And it does kind of show like the struggle of her not having kids, not having to deal with stuff like that, suddenly have this like young girl thrust into her life and trying to have to figure out like how to parent. And again, like with the technology edge of it too, like how much parenting do you put off onto a device, where in this case a
Mhm.
doll named Megan. And yeah, it raises some interesting things, and I really liked their relationship. I mean, I think Katie in this movie is kind of
There's really not much of a character for her, but I mean,
yeah,
I think she does great with what she's
yeah.
given.
I mean, I think she's a little bit annoying kind of at times, but she's been through a lot, so
Right.
she's emotional, she's got problems, she's also adjusting to this life, and now she's also kind of becoming addicted to this doll too,
Mhm.
because it is becoming sort of like the parent figure in her life. I mean, it's telling her to like flush the toilet and read her
Wash your
bedtime
hands.
stories and wash her hand. No, I wash your hands, Katie.
Yeah,
Like,
Katie, for real.
but yeah, this movie, I think it's very solid. It's super fun. I think this is just kind of a crowd pleasing, easy, breezy time at the movies. And like I said, if you have kids, like even not even teens yet, like your daughter was 10, like
Mhm.
9, 10, 11, like as long as they're not scared by like literally everything on earth, this is a great movie to show them. And parents and everybody else involved are going to have a good time with this one too.
Yes.
So of course, due to the success of Megan, like I said, $12 million and made like 180 worldwide, a sequel is inevitable, and especially with the name Blumhouse attached to it. So just this past week, we got the release of Megan 2.0. When I'm not a big trailer watcher, something like this though, I wasn't terribly scared of having big plot points or spoilers or things spoiled for me. And when I first saw the trailer for this, I think we actually, or the first time I saw it at least, we all watched it after one of
Okay.
the Scene Invaders shows,
Mhm.
and we pulled it up on the screen, and I screamed because it's so fucking funny. The trailer had me dying. It looked like it was going to be a very different movie than the first, and it
Mhm.
is indeed a very different movie than the first one.
Yes. And did you know what the budget for the second one is?
I want to say like 30 million,
It was 25 million.
25. Okay.
So that's really impressive though with what they were able to do with it. I think the movie looks great.
Yeah, no, it looks great. It looks more expensive for sure. This completely, not completely, but almost completely does away with any of the horror of the first one.
Mhm.
And it makes it kind of like an action sci-fi Mission Impossible.
Right? It's just so much. It basically takes a page from like other popular sequels like Aliens, Terminator 2. I know a lot of people have mentioned that. Even Terminator 3, I would say maybe a little bit more so just because it is a little bit more silly. But I would definitely say that the action and the comedy are the centerpieces of this movie.
Yeah, I'm going to agree with that 100%. IMDb for Megan 2.0 says 2 years after Megan's rampage, her creator, Gemma, resorts to resurrecting her infamous creation in order to take down Amelia, the military grade weapon who was built by a defense contractor who stole Megan's underlying tech. So this introduces a bad guy in the form of Amelia, who is also like an AI filled like robot essentially. And she is hell-bent on basically destroying the world with AI, or trying to find this tech that can destroy the world via AI. And yeah, this just goes in a completely different direction. It starts, I mean, it's an action movie. I think first and foremost, it's an action movie with comedy and some sci-fi thrown into it.
Mm-hmm.
And I think the action here is exceptionally well done.
Right?
Considering,
Yeah.
like, if somebody would have told me that this is the direction it was going to go, I would have been
Mhm.
like, I'm not so sure about this.
Mm-hmm.
But I thought this movie absolutely worked just from the get go. I mean, it jumps off with Amelia whipping bitch's ass and like just
Mm-hmm.
I think some interesting ways, because this is also PG-13, some interesting ways to show death
Right.
while still keeping it PG-13. A lot of like shadow work and stuff like
Mhm.
that, but it's all very effective. And I think this movie honestly might even be more fun than the first one.
I agree. I would watch this one again before I would watch the first one. And I
I
like
think
the first one, but yeah, this one's way more fun in my opinion. It's just and so much consistent like lines, like, comedic lines that
mhm.
were, people in our theater were all laughing too at the
Oh
parts
yeah,
where, it's supposed to be funny. Um, yeah, I didn't remember anything really. I mean, obviously the humor may not land with everyone, but
sure.
I don't think there was a time where I like, rolled my eyes and was thinking, oh God, that's just stupid, you know?
I agree. And you would kind of think that you would do that. I mean, the first movie was campy. It knew it was
Mhm.
campy. And this movie amps that up
Oh yeah.
in a
To like
really
11.
major way. Yeah, to like 11 for real. And it just does not seem like it should work. But I mean, at 2 hours long, that sounds like a long time for this movie. But it flew by for me. It's just consistently so insanely entertaining and fun to look at
Mhm.
and funny. And the characters are more realized this time around. I think they have a little bit
Yes.
more personality. Gemma in this movie is on this crusade now against tech and AI,
Mhm.
and she's trying to like save the children from the screens and all of that kind of stuff. And I thought that was kind of an interesting way, because she was such the
Mhm.
opposite in the first movie. So it was kind of interesting that they took her that direction this time around. But I think it made her arc in this movie just work a bit better for
Yes.
me. She becomes more of a full person by the end of it, and probably a bit more nuanced in her thinking and all of that kind of
Mhm.
stuff. Um, but yeah, they introduced Megan in this movie, so the tech is still alive, and they decide they need to try to battle this robot, or the, I don't know what the fuck to call her, android, robot, doll. What
Yeah.
is Amelia?
I guess she's an AI android.
Yeah, I mean that's probably the best way to
Is
do it. But they need something that can go toe to toe with her, basically. So they
which Oh, I was just gonna say, which I thought was great. The whole setup where, they actually realized that Megan has been here the whole time is that home invasion scene where the FBI tries
yes.
to break in and Megan is able to like utilize the all these features in her smart home
Mhm.
to help, I guess incapacitate them.
I did think that was a little bit crazy though for this lady who's now so like completely anti-tech to have this like
To have,
super
yeah,
smart home. And I know she said that it like came with the house, she rented it or whatever. But I
it
was
was
just
an
like,
amazing deal on this house.
I was like, no, that was a script convenience. But honestly, you can't
Yeah.
be too mad at it because it makes for such an entertaining time.
Yes.
But yeah, Megan comes back basically, and they put her in the body of this little like robot doll looking thing, and she was like, what the fuck is this? Like basically she was like, what the fuck are you doing to me? Why am I in this?
Mhm.
But they have to make sure she's okay because of course she was the villain of the first movie, and now she becomes sort of more of like an anti-hero in a way, like she's a gray area, but she is on the side of like our protagonists here. And eventually they of course resurrect her into a new Megan that's a little bit bigger, a little taller. She looks very much the same. She just looks a little bit older, I would say.
Mhm. Oh yeah. They changed her design a little bit. I
Yeah.
like it. Obviously, I like the original design a little bit better, but I understand that they had to make her look a little bit older and stuff like that to go toe to toe with Amelia.
Yeah, because it would have been weird to have like something that
Yeah.
was so insanely childlike
Uh-huh.
um, in these fight sequences and doing all of this stuff. But I thought Megan this time around was so much better than even in the first one. She's fun in the first one, but this one, her personality, she just has so much personality here.
Mhm.
Quippy one-liners, awesome fighting. They shoehorn a dance sequence into this because of course that was very popular in the first one, so they're going to try to recreate that magic a bit.
Mhm.
It didn't work quite as
No.
well here for me because it felt
Forced a little
it
bit.
felt a little forced and a
Well,
little
and
bit
I didn't
bumpy.
even know the song either. I didn't recognize the song, so
The
maybe
one
if I
she
had known
danced
the
to.
song, yeah.
Oh,
But
I don't remember what it was
I
either. I
don't
don't
know.
think I know it. But yeah, it was a little bit like, oh, this worked the first time, so we're gonna make Megan dance
Right.
again. And it was cute and funny and all of that. But yeah, it just felt a little bit like trying to cash in on the things that made the first one popular. But yeah, this movie is packed full of like awesome fight sequences, like genuinely awesome, not
Yes.
half-assed. They don't feel cheap. They just are good, man. Like
Right.
it's good, solid action. And again, this is PG-13, so this is something I think that like kids and younger girls and all that kind of stuff are probably going to go and eat up because I wouldn't see why you wouldn't. Although I don't think it is looking like this is going to make much money, unfortunately.
I know, that's what's so sad, and, like, I keep hearing these people talking about it after they've seen it, and they're disappointed that it's not horror, and it's like,
Yeah,
"Did you not watch the trailer?" And I get
right.
it, some people didn't, so
Sure.
that would be a surprise, but if you watch the trailer, that is exactly the movie that you got, and I was super happy about it because it worked for me. I love
Yeah.
the fact that they changed it because what else are they gonna do? Just have a rehash of the first one? I don't wanna watch the first one again,
Yeah.
you know?
I could not agree more for sure. I mean, I think there's a lot you could do in this world of Megan and like
Mhm.
with the doll and stuff like that and have like spin-off type things. Other families, but again, I think you honestly would just kind of get into the same thing over and over again. And I thought this was a breath of fresh air. I am definitely a
Mhm.
horror guy through and through, but I was not at all disappointed in this. It just completely worked for me in every way. Chris and I went, and he has a 15-year-old daughter, and she went with us to see it, and she does not like horror at all. Like she was she was afraid to watch K-pop Demon Hunters by
Aw.
herself. Like she's like that,
Mhm.
like no horror at all. And she made it through this movie for sure. And if she could she can do it, anybody can. There were a couple things that I think did startle her, and she was a
Mhm.
little like, because it has a couple of moments here and
Oh,
there that,
yeah.
like have a touch of horror to it, but it's definitely kind of leaving that by the wayside.
Yeah, that was that was really funny when the one FBI agent, and this isn't spoiling anything, but, gets impaled by that thing, and she's like, "Oh, yeah, you'll be okay."
Yeah. Oh my god, right, for real.
Ah.
And yeah, this movie is sad. I think this is the kind of thing that maybe isn't going to hit right at first for people, but I think in the long run, I think this is one that might end up becoming a bit more appreciated with time.
I agree.
I think the jarring change here might, like we've said, put people off of it a little bit. And I've seen a lot of like like after the fact, after I saw it, I went and looked at like critic stuff and I watched
Mhm.
some videos on it and all that kind of stuff. And a lot of people seem to just be kind of meh about this. And
Right?
like that is the last feeling that I felt leaving this. Like
I agree.
it just, I was like, that was a blast. I was like, oh, I could sit and absolutely watch this again. Like this is the
Mhm.
kind of thing I could throw on like at any time as just like a
Right?
comfort watch, a background. And even though it is packed full of humor, not every joke or every bit of humor lands. Most of it did for me.
Yeah.
And there is a sequence in this movie too that got the biggest laugh from me and Chris and from our audience. And it's a singing scene. We had that in the first one. And I mean, I don't know what she was singing. Do you know what
Yeah,
song that was?
I've never heard that song either, but that was funny. She's like, "Oh, please don't take it to the chorus."
Right. And she's like sitting there with Gemma singing, and it goes on for a minute too, but it's so goofy and exactly it
Mhm.
just encapsulates like what this series and what these movies are about. And yeah, we were dying. Me and Chris were dying laughing, and our audience was feeling that part of it too, for sure. I did learn today while looking at a little bit of stuff on these movies that there is a spin-off
Ooh,
to Megan coming out in January, I believe,
okay.
and it's called Soulmate, Soulmate.
Oh,
And I mean, now with this movie not doing so well, like at the box office financially, I mean, it's hard to tell like how audiences are going to react to something like that. It's going to be a
Mhm.
January movie, early January. We know that can be a dumping ground for stuff, but also the first Megan was a huge success
Right.
coming out at that time, and also a good movie. So it's kind of interesting to see where this will go. I think this might be a slightly more like adult themed movie
Mhm.
where I think it's about a guy who loses his wife and gets like
Like a
an android,
companion.
yeah, like a companion robot or android, which I don't know that it's horror, but I'm going to
Mhm.
assume it probably is horror. But yeah, I mean, I'll be there to watch it for sure. And honestly, like after seeing this, like I would really not be mad if there was a Megan 3.
Right? I'd
And
watch it.
yeah, I would absolutely watch it. I mean, she says hold on to your vaginas, guys. And I know it's all over the trailer, but the context of it in the movie, it's a little bit different than how you see it in the trailer.
Mhm.
It's quite funny and yeah, just the
Yes.
kind of like silly bullshit that
Yeah. I love all the different references that they have in it too. I mean, like the whole Knight Rider scene. I'm not going to spoil it, but yeah, that was really funny. I was like, oh my God, I can't believe they're playing that theme song.
right?
And then the whole exoskeleton tech that they had, that was really
Yeah,
cool. I liked
very
how they
cool.
brought that back a couple of times within it. And it's even kind of like it gave me vibes of like Ripley and her power loader at the end of
Yeah,
Aliens. So
absolutely.
that was
Yeah,
really cool.
definitely some good stuff like that. There's also a sort of running joke in a way through this
Oh,
movie.
with the guy's name?
Oh, well, there's that too. It's Christian or
Okay.
Christian.
Christian. But did you notice at the end she was like, yes, Christian.
Just to be derogatory. Like,
Yeah. She's like, fuck him. That's not
yeah,
his name.
exactly.
It's Christian. It's not Christian.
But another running joke through this that I thought actually was pretty funny, and kids aren't going to get this one so much, but Katie in this movie is into Aikido, and she
Yes.
loves Steven Seagal.
Yes. Oh God, that was so cute. I was like, where did that even come from? I mean, it was still adorable though. I loved it.
Yeah, so I mean, you get a couple of good laughs out of stuff like that, and then like when she opens her locker at school, she's got like an Under Siege
Yes.
poster, and, like stuff like that. But that kind of comes to play a part in this movie a little bit later on. But yeah, this is a highly recommended from me. This is grab some popcorn, sit and laugh at
Mhm.
silly bullshit for a couple hours in the air conditioning and have a great time. Like this is something that I think will play perfectly well at home, but it's very slick and
Yeah.
it looks great and it looks more expensive and I think is worthy of the theater experience for sure, just for the like production value of it all.
I agree. Please, everybody go watch it in theaters so we can get
Yeah.
a third.
Yes, please.
Yeah,
And Soulmate,
because
we need you to be good too.
yes, please. Do we know who that's written by yet?
It's already filmed, I believe.
Oh, okay. Gotcha. That's
I
right,
don't
because it's coming out in January.
Yeah, I'm not sure. But yeah, it could be fun for sure.
I know that you said that it didn't feel like 2 hours to you. I felt like kind of just at the end it started to drag a little bit, but I don't want to have that come across as like a negative because
Sure.
I still really enjoyed it. But I feel like if they could have done anything, maybe try to shave off about 10 minutes just to
Yeah.
kind of streamline it. But then thinking back, I I can't really think of anything that I would just cut out altogether.
Yeah,
They'd
for sure.
probably just have to do like little edits here and there to kind of make up that time.
Sure.
Because we didn't even talk about Jermaine Clement's character,
Yeah.
which is kind of like the mixture of Elon Musk and what's his name? Jeffrey Bezos type people. That was
just
really
a tech
funny.
billionaire who, yeah, it was funny. I thought he got the assignment for this movie.
Oh, sure. Yes, he did.
He knew what movie he was in. And I would say, if anything, too, about that, like, this, it gets a little bit overly convoluted.
Yeah, at the end.
There's a lot of stuff going on, and it's like all about, again, like kind of AI taking over the world and like trying to navigate the good guys from the bad guys and all of that kind of stuff, and of course trying to stop this world takeover. So it gets maybe a little bit bogged down in that stuff. But yeah, like Carly said, they probably could have shaved probably 10 or 15 minutes off this movie, made it just a little bit like more streamlined and faster paced. There are no major points that I would cut out of this movie.
No,
but I think there are probably ways they could have found to save time, because I think honestly, at the end of the day, like the story here, it's fairly inconsequential. It's just a vehicle for us to watch Megan fight another robot, do funny shit. There's a part in this movie where Megan has to get into, I don't think this is spoiling anything. You see some of it in the trailer, where she's trying to get into this facility, and she jumps off of the side of this like cliff into like a wingsuit, and it's like flying down this thing to like perfectly go right into this hole to get inside the facility. It's very Mission Impossible.
Mm-hmm.
And it's so hilarious and well done and worth the price of admission. That kind of stuff, like, it gave me joy, and I laughed every single time. And Chris, who I said I went to see this, has not seen the first one.
Mm-hmm.
I was going to guess before going in that you probably didn't really have to see the first one to enjoy this, and I think that is the case. It's probably good to know kind of where it all started, but I think the movie does a pretty good job of like filling you in and giving you kind of a what happened up until now kind of thing without being too heavy-handed and like backstory or any of that. You get just enough information to where, and even honestly, if they didn't give you that information, I think this movie stands on its own well enough that you just don't really need it.
I think so too, but I think one of the things that I liked about it the most is the fact that they did actually bring back, her complete team from the first one, Cole and Tess.
Yeah.
And they just brought all those characters back and actually expanded a little bit on them. So I really appreciated that they did that instead of just, not making them just, throwaway characters like they could have been.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I agree with that for sure. Because it's those little things like that make you care a little bit more, because I mean, we don't have like the biggest or like most intensely drawn characters of all time here, but they're people that they're fun, and you care about them because they're just easy to latch onto, and they're fun to take this ride with and go along with and watch. And I think that it's very successful in that way, and they're people that I would love to see come back for a part 3. So make part 3, Blumhouse, please.
Yes, please.
Even if this one doesn't make money, you made enough off the first one that you could give
That's
us
right.
just one more. I need that joy, and that's kind of joy in my life sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
And honestly, I think maybe I'm not a big comedy guy. It's not my favorite genre, I should say. So it's not like I see every comedy that comes out, but this is probably the funniest movie that I've seen this year. Just consistent laughs, and
yes,
yeah, just they kind of throw everything at the wall here, but I thought most of it stuck, so I'm done with it.
Agreed.
So that was our take on Megan and Megan 2.0. So we both definitely like this movie, guys. So go and see it.
Yes.
Also, thank you so much for coming back to the channel. The last video we did was on 28 days, weeks, and years later. That is up now. And the next video coming out looks like it's going to be some of our favorite summer horror movies to recommend to you. So it seems like the prime time of year to do something like that. And I think that'll be a fun discussion. So subscribe, like, comment, share it to your friends. Come back for the podcasts out every week, and these episodes are also coming out every week. And we will see you next time, guys.
Bye.